This is an instructional video on translating shapes across the coordinate plane. The word translate in math means to slide. And so we can slide a shape up, down, left, or right. An x coordinate would be represented by moving the shape left or right, and the y coordinate would be changed by moving the shape up or down. If you move a shape to the left, that would be negative. If you moved a shape to the right, that would be positive. If you move a shape down, that would be negative. And if you move a shape up, that would be positive. So for this problem, we have rectangle QRST with the vertices Q at -6, -1, R at -3, 1, S at 1, -5, and T at -2, -7. And it's already been graphed for you. Now, we can look at our points and see that we are going to do the x coordinate, so that's going to be either left or right, and it's a +5. So we're going to go right 5. The y coordinate is a +7, so we're going to go up 7. So we're going to start with Q, so put your pencil on point Q, and we're going to go right 5, and then up 7. And put your new point, which is Q prime. It looks like a little 1 on top, Q prime. We're going to do the same thing for all of our points. So put your pencil on R and count right 5 and then up 7. And label that point R prime, little 1 on top. We do the same thing with S. Put your pencil on S and move right 5 and up 7. And label that point S prime. And the last point T, we move it right 5 and up 7 and label that T prime. You end up connecting your dots and you end up with the exact same shape, in this case a rectangle, but it's been moved to the right 5 units and up 7 units. Then we write down the new points. So starting at the origin, Q is at -1 and 6. Starting at the origin, R is at 2 and 8. Starting at the origin, S is at 6, 2. And again, starting at the origin, T is at 3, 0. Number 2, triangle CDE with vertices C, 2, -1, D, 7, -4, and E, 4, -6. The triangle has already been graphed for you. Looking at our directions, we have a -3, so that means we're going to go left 3, and we have a +8, which means we're going to go up 8. So start with point C, and we're going to go left 3 and up 8. And then put your point. And we're going to label it C prime. We do that with point D and E as well. Go left 3 and up 8. Label that point D prime. And point E, again, left 3, up 8. And label that point E prime. We connect our dots and you should have the exact same triangle, but only slid over 3 and up 8. Once you have graphed your new shape, you can look at your new points. So C is now at -1, 7. D is at 4, 4. And E is at 1, 2. Rhombus JKLM with vertices J, -4, 7, K, 0, 8, L, -1, 4, and M, -5, 3. Again, the rhombus has already been graphed for you. We are just going to change the points to their new locations. We start with a +2, which means we're going to go right 2. Then we have a -2, which is going to be down, so down 2. So we're going to start with J. We're going to go right 2 and down 2, and we're going to label it J prime. It overlaps, and that's quite fine. Don't worry about the shapes overlapping. We keep moving on with our same points. So with point K, again, we're going to go right 2 and down 2, and label it K prime. L, again, we're going to go right 2 and down 2, labeling it L prime. And then point M gets the same treatment and go right 2 and down 2, labeling it M prime. We connect our dots. Yes, the shapes overlap. That's okay. And we end up with the same rhombus just slid across the coordinate plane. Our last step is to write down our new coordinate prime points. J is now at -2, 5. K is at 2, 6. L is at 1, 2. And M is at -3, 1. Square WXYZ with vertices W at 1, 7, X at 6, 5, Y at 4, 0, and Z at -1, 2. The square's already been drawn. We are just going to move it to its new coordinate place. We have a -7, so that means left 7. And we have a -6, which means down 6. Starting with point W, we move left 7 and then down 6. And we label that W prime. We can move on to point X and again move it left 7 and down 6. Label that point X prime. For point Y, we go left 7 and down 6. And label it Y prime. And the last point Z, we go left 7 and down 6. And label it Z prime. Connect your dots and we end up with the same square, just with the new coordinate points. So we can go ahead and write down the new coordinates. W is now at -5, 1. Excuse me, that should be -6 and 1. My apologies. X is at -1, -1. Y is at -3, -6. And Z is at -8, -4. Triangle STU with vertices S, -4, 2, T, 5, -1, and U, -2, -2. The triangle has already been graphed for you. We are just going to change it to its new location. We start with a -1, so that is left 1, and a -5, so it's going to be down 5. So we're going to start with point S. We're going to go left 1 and then down 5, labeling that S prime. T, again, we go left 1 and then down 5, and label it T prime. And point U, going left 1, we go down 5, labeling that U prime. Go ahead and connect your dots, and you end up with the same triangle that has been shifted left 1 and down 5. For our new points, our new coordinates, S is at -5, -3. T is at 4, 6. and U is at -3, -7. Trapezoid ABCD with vertices A, -3, 6, B, 0, 7, C, 1, 4, and D, -5, 2. Again, the trapezoid is already graphed for you. We are going to graph the new location of the same trapezoid. So we start with a +4, so that's going to be right 4, and a -1, so that's going to be down 1. So starting with point A, we're going to go right 4 and down 1, labeling it A prime. For point B, we go right 4 and down 1, labeling it B prime. For point C, we go right 4 and down 1, labeling it C prime. And for point D, we're going to go right 4 and down 1, labeling it D prime. Connecting the dots, the shapes do overlap, but that is okay. And then we can go ahead and do the last step, which is to fill in the missing coordinate values. A prime is now located at 1, 6. B prime is located at 4, 6. A should be at 5. C is at 5, 3. And D is at -1, 1. Trapezoid JKLM with vertices J at -6, 6, K at -3, 7, L at -1, 3, and M at -8, 0. The trapezoid is already graphed on the coordinate plane. We are going to translate it 7 right. It's positive, so it's 7 right, and -3, so that's down 3. So starting with J, we're going to go right 7 and down 3, labeling it J prime. For point K, we're going to go right 7 and down 3, labeling it K prime. For L, we're going to go right 7 and down 3, labeling it L prime. And the last point M, we're going to go right 7 and down 3, labeling it M prime. Connecting our dots, we should end up with the same trapezoid that has been translated across the coordinate plane. Our last step is to write down the new coordinate points. J is now at 1, 3. K is at 4, 4. L is at 6, 0. And M is at -1, -3. For this problem, we have square RSTU with vertices R at -2, 1, S at 3, 4, T at 6, -1, and U at 1, -4. We are going to translate this shape left 4, because it's negative, negative is left, and down 1, down because it's negative. So we're going to start with point R, and we're going to go left 4 and down 1, labeling that point R prime. Point S again, we're going to go left 4 and down 1, labeling it S prime. T again is going to go left 4 and down 1, labeling that T prime. And U is going to go left 4 and down 1, labeling it U prime. We can connect our dots and we end up with the same square. Yes, they do overlap, but that is okay. And then our last step is to write down the new coordinate points. R is going to be at -6, 0. S is at 1, 3. T is at 2, -2. And U is at -3, -5.